Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 13 of What If Naruto. From the Uzumaki curse, guys. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this stuff with your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Kidnapped and return with a bloodline over in Anime King 2. And stay tuned for a brand new episode over in Anime King. Yes, that's right, if you're new, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly, every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, click that red subscribe button, and become part of the Anime King family. And don't forget to turn on the bell notifications so you can see exactly when I post. So without further ado, what do you say we jump right into the new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, the battle ensued down below before the audience. It was Yujito and Gaara. While Gaara was skilled and his son was powerful, Yujito was still a fair bit stronger than him. It wasn't the fact that she had a 2 and he had 1 tails. It was just natural her speed and not to mention her skills. She was a fair bit stronger than all the Genins here, well except for a select few. And she proved that by using her hot blue flames and crystallizing his hand, as she proceeded to slash him across the stomach with her nails, as that caused him to bleed rather badly. Gaara lost himself in rage as everything went chaotic. The invasion was about to begin, as the place started to go into a mess. Ninjas started to file in. Asuma saw that Naruto was still standing there, not even doing anything, as they shouted at him to help the village. But Naruto simply glared at him and told him that he couldn't command him to do anything. Jonin or not, he didn't care for him, as Kakashi told Naruto that he couldn't do this right now as they needed to protect Konoha. Naruto never said that he was not going to, as he went after Shikaku, the 2 girls following behind him. So with that, they met up with Gaara in the forest, as Temari and Kankuro were both taken on by Hanoka and Haku, as the real battle began between Naruto and Gaara. Gaara realized that he was outgunned and outpowered transformed, as Naruto faced the massive beast. He proceeded to take the thing on by himself as he ran up it, and he performed one of his newly found techniques. He called it the Elemental Rasengan, as he was able to pump almost all of the nature engines inside of it. It went critical and exploded, as Naruto was able to drop Gaara. Gaara was backing away as Naruto moved towards him, as he was afraid. But Naruto proceeded to slam his hand into his stomach, frightening Gaara, as he placed a seal over the seal that he was currently holding. Gaara was confused what was going on, as Naruto spoke to him. He was also a Jinchuriki, so he understood life of Jinchuriki more than he knew. But he told Gaara that he would be expecting him to also come to his aid when he needed. At the moment, Gaara found himself conflicted, as he found a new purpose, something to live for. The reason why Uzumaki fought was because of the people that he cared about. And with that, Naruto allowed him and his siblings to flee, and they made their way back towards the village. Arriving back towards the village, things were not done yet, as the group were attacked by a strange red-headed man. He first attacked Sasuke. The man then drive a blade directly through Sasuke. Sasuke's body lit up in flames, shocking everyone as he was burned to crisp. Naruto attacked the man, but the man was fast and stabbed right through Naruto, doing the same thing. Haku and Hanoka saw this, as Anko was pissed off as she leaped down, crying and screamed at her to stop, but it was too late as she was stabbed right through. The man proceeded to stab Haku and Hanoka as well. Kakashi engaged as the man knocked him away. Kakashi tried to figure out who the man was, but he gave him no chance, as he stabbed his blade in the ground. fighting his way through Konoha ninjas to escape. A massive onslaught of flames came out, but they lost him. Kakashi couldn't believe what just happened. He killed him. Things became worse when the invasion ended as Hiruzen died. Hiruzen died. The Hokage was no more. When Sakura and Hinata found out about this, their mind refused to believe it. Hinata went silent in her way of coping. Sakura refused to believe it. They were not dead. They couldn't be. As Kurina couldn't believe it either. She got pissed off at Osman because the man seemed happy that Naruto was gone, as her best friend uncle was gone as well. Later that night, the girls had a dream. Well, it wasn't a dream, as they all found themselves in a strange place when they fell asleep. But a few days passed and neither of them said anything, like they didn't know what was going on. Well, something had been set into motion already, as the place was not happy at all. While some of them were glad that Naruto was dead, the civilians that he terrorized. But they then found out that half of the populace was gone. The red light district was wiped out. This strange man had killed a lot of the people within Konoha. Bodies were there and blood splattered on the wall, as he said that he would be back. Itachi Uchiha found out that his younger brother was dead. The man went crazy. He was able to rein in his rage, but all of this he did it for Sasuke, but now he was gone. The only reason why Itachi stayed with the Akatsuki at the moment was because the Akatsuki was able to get a vast well of knowledge, and he wanted to know who the hell killed his brother. He wanted to find this individual, and he wanted to end his life. Nothing would stop him from doing that. He was going to kill this person. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Jiraiya was left in a slump, as he lost so much in one day. As a council meeting was taking place though, he made his voice. Tsunade was going to be the next Hokage, as he was going to find her. That pissed Danzo off because this was the opportunity, but now it was being taken away from him. We then skip to Uzu, where the man himself, Naruto Uzumaki, rise off his throne when he was greeted by the six-tailed Utakata, and also his apprentice. She was surprised that he was this young, but the power that she felt from him was nothing normal. As she greeted the new Uzumaki, Naruto stepped up towards the podium after walking through his throne. Arriving towards the top, he saw countless of people down there. They all saw him as they stopped. As he raised his hand, the people chanted for their new Uzumaki. People from different villages and different nations, all coming together as one, as Naruto stood there. So yeah guys, basically that's what left off. You guys can switch across the place to check it for yourself, and yeah, let's jump right into this new episode without wasting any more time. Let's begin now guys. We begin this episode at the Hidden Leaf Village, as we make our way towards the Hokage's office. Inside said office sat the 5th Hokage of Konoha, which was none other than Tsunade Senju. As she looked over the latest report on her decks, the Elemental Nation was not exactly stable right now, but the whole reason why she was here. It has been 5 years. 5 years since that event that hurt Konoha. The event that killed her sensei. Yes, 5 long years. During those 5 years, a lot have changed. For one, she was off drinking and enjoying herself when Orochimaru approached her to heal his arms. She had heard about what he did in the village, and she wasn't planning on doing that. He would just go back to destroy it. But he gave her 1 week and a proposition that he would bring back her loved ones. But Tsunade knew that there had to be some risks, and she knew that Dan and Nawaki would never want to come back like this, to be used by that man to trick her. She intended to finish the job that her sensei could not, to kill him and get it over with. Maybe it was just a passing act on her part to just do something for her past sensei. So she did went there, with the intention to kill the man. But then she kind of froze up really badly. Things didn't go good on her part, when she got blood splattered all over her. As she faced Orochimaru and his apprentice, there was no way in hell that he could force Tsunade to heal him. She would rather die. As he figured that she would just be a competition in the future, he would find another way, as he was about to kill her until Jiraiya arrived and saved her life. Tsunade was in a fragile state. Shizune was trying to wake her out of it, but she was just too fragile right there, with the blood all over her, the memories from the past. Shizune had took on Kabuto and she almost died, but Jiraiya saved her life. A huge battle then took place between him and Orochimaru as Kabuto had luckily lived, with a Rasengan slamming into his stomach. Jiraiya had shouted at her as Orochimaru decided to finish her. He had sped past Jiraiya, Kabuto getting away of Jiraiya, who once again received her Rasengan, but the bastard just wouldn't die. He took a pill and he was able to heal himself. But Shizune had jumped in the way and take a stab for her. She watches her apprentice was dying and something inside for a snap. Jiraiya jumped in the way and started to fight back Orochimaru. She proceeded to heal Shizune with shaking hands, and the rage set in, as she turned that rage towards Orochimaru, as they made him flee, running for his life, him and his apprentice. Jiraiya offered to come back with him, but she refused. But that is when she saw something in his eyes, a broken gaze. She wanted to know what was that about. She has never seen him look this broken since. He had lost his other apprentice. He then proceeded to tell her what happened, as she found out that Minato's son was killed. She didn't know that. She almost got Shizune killed as well, in her state of not even realizing anything that was going on. She didn't know why, but she could feel Nawaki and Dan encouraging her on to go and accept the offer when she slept on it. The next morning she arrived, Jiraiya looked absolutely surprised that she was gonna agree. Not to mention she did not, that the weasel Danzo was trying to get his way into the office. She knew of the man being a weasel since training under her sensei. Danzo wasn't a good person, so she came back to Konoha and took the seat. She wanted to do something that she wasn't able to do in the past, start the medical program, which she did, and she got a few fine medics, but one of them stand out in particular. The teammate of the boys that died that day. Naruto and Sasuke were their names. One of them being the Uchiha and one of them being the Kyuubi holder. The girl Sakura Haruno stand out in every way possible. Her chakra control was so refined. Not to mention, she had a book upon Fuinjutsu that Naruto gave her. She was on the early stages, but the more time went on, the more she progressed. Tsunade was able to teach a girl her super stern technique and much more over the past 5 years, to the point where she was now almost running the hospital. But even as the girl was 20 years old right now, she never settled down with anyone. It seems like the mental scar that was left on her after losing those two was just great, and she never really took to any relationship, which made Tsunade feel bad, because she was just the same way after losing Dan. Several changes went through the village. Several people that was close to the boy, including the Hyuga heiress, that was training to succeed her father, which would be happening soon. As the girl had shown great promise, the elders could not say anything about her growth. Hinata Hyuga has changed a lot. Not just her, everyone has changed. The deaths of the kids had really ruffled everyone, to show them how cruel the world was, as their friends were just killed. Asuma Sarutobi though, him and a few others were not really caring about the death of Naruto, but they cared for the others. From what she was able to gain, the child wasn't really liked by most of the populace, but still he had people that cared about him. But that wasn't a big problem in the Elemental Nation right now. It was the rise of Uzu. Yes, the village, hidden in the land of Whirlpool. That was a shocker. About a year ago, there was rumors. These rumors started to prove true when it was shown that there was an ally between Uzu and the land of Wave, a village that Konoha had helped. Tsunade had tried to get some information, but so-called leader of the village was always not there when she tried to. She had sent Jiraiya straight towards the heart of the problem, Uzu. Arriving there, the man was stopped. Two people at the seaside that told him to stop. As Jiraiya confirmed that it was true, he had asked them to go inside and meet whoever was in charge, but they said no. And they told him if he tried to sneak in, he would not leave this place alive. Jiren knew the Uzumakis were known for their sealing, but the two people that he saw the ancients were not Uzumakis. Their hair didn't show that, nor did their eyes. Nor did they have the dense chakra, but they were definitely not normal. Given the fact that, over the past few years, as no one even noticed, several of the smaller clans, smaller villages were being emptied. People summarize that Uzo was the reason behind this. Were they adopting the people in their civilization? That must be the case. And Uzo didn't seem to want to do anything with the larger nations. Rumors were that they were connected with the Wave and several smaller nations, the Wave being the main source. Other than that, none of the high nations, the Sand, nothing else, had been said to ally with Uzo. The Sand had been growing in the past couple of years as well. Gaara taking the forefront as the Kazekage after his defeat by Naruto hands. He had really changed a lot. But the problem was the Hina Stone, and also Kumo as well. Kiri was being silent, but they were also responsible for the destruction of Uzo. And with the new rising of the village, people were starting to become afraid, thinking that Uzo was going to retaliate. Knowing the strength that village packed in its heyday, they had no idea who was running the village, or what was even going on in there. There had been several attempts of spy getting in, but their bodies were never seen ever again. Uzo was not playing around this time. The island was very secured. People were not getting in anytime soon. Everyone knew that Uzo was now there, and the threat of Uzo being silent while recovering was starting to get on people's nerves. It was starting to agitate them. People were making their move. Kumo more so. The Raikage thought about the perceivable threat of his village being condemned by that nation, knowing their ability with seals far exceed anything that can be produced in the elemental nation. That is why he would like to find out who was in charge. Tsunade didn't know of that though. But the other nations were not saying anything about their feelings towards Uzo. Given that Konoha and Uzo was once connected in the past, Tsunade thought they would allow Jiraiya to get in, but they told him no. They did not give a reason why. And Jiraiya did not try to fight his way in, not knowing the strength that he had. So that was a big problem. Not to mention Jiraiya informed her about a group known as the Akatsuki, but they had went quiet after Naruto's death. Seemingly the Nine Tails had died as well, but it will take a while to reform. They were also a problem as well. A group having all that power was not wise at all for anyone to let happen. But so far, them being quiet, they were not a problem. But Uzo was the main threat here because no one knew what they were capable of or what they were doing. They were just silent. But it wasn't going to stay that way forever though. At Kumo, do you understand me? You will depart immediately. Yujito, who has grown in the past few years, nodded as she turned her back to leave the office. Stepping outside, she came face to face with C, the censor. He gave her a nod as she understood. As she got back in, she was given a mission to go towards the land of Wave and kidnap who there was in charge, so they could get answers. It has been a year now and Uzo has been quiet. Even the Raikage was becoming tense. The Tishikage must be losing his shit, as they were all seemingly becoming afraid. They had no idea the amount of power Uzo packed. Why would they even show that they have recovered if they weren't strong? And after what happened back in the war, with the three nations demolishing Uzo, there was no doubt that he wanted revenge. That is why the Raikage decided to make the first move other than sending a spy in there. He was going to go after the land of Wave, the main source that was behind Uzo's drive, taking the leader to find out who was in charge even though they did not know who was the leader of land of Wave, and that was kind of bad, but still. Yujito and several other Kumo ninjas will be in charge of bringing the leader back. C being there as their censor as well. If worse come to worse, the Raikage was gonna destroy the bridge at the land of Wave to draw Uzo out. If they were not gonna make a move, he was. Paranoia and fear was setting in. Because why would they show themselves if they were not gonna do anything? 1 year and yet they did not make a move. Konoha has not made a move either, as that was being rather suspicious. They have not made a statement saying that they were out of it or whatnot. So something must be wrong there. Meanwhile, at Kirin, the Mizukage sat behind her decks. Mei Terumi, as she was one of the driving force in ending the civil war, freeing her people. But now there was another problem on the horizon. Uzu, the village that was known for their Fuinjutsu and Kinjutsu, the village that was able to threaten the entire elemental nation because of the skills that they wield. After all, it was just a small nation, and yet it required 3 nations and Kages to defeat them. Things were bad. Kira did not have the manpower to stand up to them if they indeed possessed power. The 3-tailed that died with Yagra. It should be reforming in time soon now, which they will recapture it as soon as it did. The 6-tailed though, she has spent the better part of 2 years searching. The hunter ninja found nothing. The subject name was Utsukata. No one knew where he was or even if he was still alive. So if they were to be attacked right now, that would be tremendously bad for them. The Hidden Stone. As Oniki went over the latest reports, spies that he sent there, some of his best spies were not on radar anymore, they were just gone. Oniki was getting old, yes, he knew that fact clearly. He was gonna make his granddaughter succeed him, but not yet. Before he go, he need to take care of this problem. Uzu need to go away. Uzu was a threat as he saw it to his nation, which he couldn't allow to strive. So far, they also found out that several other key nations, smaller nations such as Netsuko Village, and several others were just gone. That was becoming rather problematic. Most believe that Uzu was behind this, but how could someone kidnap an entire nation? That was not possible. It didn't make sense. But the problem was, they were just gone. Oniki was becoming more frustrated and more, he wouldn't say it so loud, but scared as well. Something was just wrong. Uzu has been quiet despite showing himself. Who knows how long they had been rebuilding? This was the first sighting of them, and now they were just quiet, and no spies were able to get past their border. He was going to make a critical move soon to determine their threat level. But he had to plan this carefully, otherwise he might invoke a wrath. And this time he was by himself. He didn't have Kiri and Kumo to back him up. In the past with the other Kages, if he decided to take this rationally, he might come out on top, but if he decided to jump into it wildly, he would definitely lose. This was becoming more problematic than he thought. At the Hidden Sand, Gaara, the Kazakage, was standing on top. As he glanced down towards his village, at first the people did not trust him one bit because of his past actions, but after he got defeated by the Uzumaki, everything changed for him. Despite knowing that he was dead for 5 years now, something still flashed through his mind. When the time comes, I hope I can benefit on your aid. Those words always remind him. Some reason he believed that he was not truly dead, despite there being witnesses and proof. His ashes burned away, but still, there was just something nagging away at Gaara. He didn't know why, but he had a feeling that Uzumaki was not dead. But if he said this out loud, he might seem crazy after all. There was so much people there. But the shinobi world is a corrupted, twisted world that might trick the closest eyes. So he did not know. So far the sand was stable. Konoha, despite their efforts at attacking them, the new Hokage had shown that she was a merciful one. They were tricked into this. They had to pay repercussions, but still, they were still on their feet. The new business of Uzu was still worrying Gaara, though, as he did not know who was in charge. A crazy thought popped into his mind every now and then. After all, his last name was Uzumaki. But that was just downright crazy. Or was it, Gaara thought to himself. Time skip. At Uzu, there was a knock. A frantic knock on the door. Enter. Someone rushed inside. Said man was wearing an Uzu headband. He had brown hair, dark eyes. He was wearing a black suit with a swirl on the chest, black pants, and shinobi boots. as he looked towards the woman that sat behind her desk. Said woman had long purple hair, dark blue eyes. "Yes, how may I help you?" "Ma'am," he said as he gave her a note. She took it and read it over, as she raised her eyebrow in surprise. "So they're making their move," she said to herself. "Thank you, you're dismissed," she said. "I will handle this." He nodded. He was panicking, but there was no need to panic. It was about time anyway, as she got to her feet and made her way. It took her a while as she arrived towards the main quarters. Upon arriving there, she stepped inside and walked down the long hallway. As she stepped towards where the throne was, as she came to a stop a few feet away. "Excuse me, sir," she said, as his eyes were closed. His chin was resting on his palm. As he slowly cracked open an eye, it seems like there is trouble. Intel has reported that Kumo ninjas are making their way towards Land of Wave. We believe that you're up to something, sir. And Spartans of Yujito, the two-tailed Jinjulke, seem to be in charge of his group." How long? His voice came out. "Approximately 5 hours ago, sir. Given the location, they should be there in about 5 more days." "Thank you," he said. "You may return back to your duties at once." As she left, he raised his hand. The moment he did, someone flashed right beside his throne. "Yes, sir." "Did you hear that?" "Yes, my lord. I was waiting for an opportunity. I thought I would have to do it myself, but it seems like they have made a move before me." "Will you be showing yourself to the world, my lord?" He did not say anything for a few seconds, as the person waited. "Yes, it's about time." "Is the project finished?" he asked. "Yes." "Are you sure? There's no last minute tinkering?" "No, my lord. Everything should be 100%. "Gather the others. 10 minutes meeting room." At once, the person vanished. He finally got up to his feet. It seems like it was finally time. His long blonde hair settling on his back. 2 bangs framing the side of his face. His well-pronounced whisker marks on each cheek. His eyes, no longer that wonderful blue. They were more crimson. Side effects of what happened to him. As he calmly made his way, a few minutes later, in a room, several individuals were gathered. One of them being a red-headed man, the same one that was in Konoha, responsible of teleporting the other civilian members. This man's name was Kenshin Uzumaki. After Hanoka had woken up, there were several things that were left behind. The escape routes. They were able to use those to find several distant relatives, and they indeed knew about their clan. Their parents had passed on stories to them, telling them about the wonders of the Uzumaki clan, but they had to flee so that they would survive. As that is what Naruto was doing for the past 6 months, when he was first known to be dead, gathering these Uzumakis. The first one that he gathered was Kenshin Uzumaki, who had a younger sister. Kenshin was 2 years older than him, so he was 17 then. His sister, being 14 years old. Their parents had died due to some scuffle by some enemy shinobis when they were much younger. They were taken in by a member of the same fellow village who knew their parents quite well. But it was time that they live up to their parents' expectations. When he came across them, they had set it as their goal. As Kenshin, after his talk with Naruto, decided to follow him to help him on his goal of rebuilding the Uzumaki clan. Kenshin had the standard red hair. He had purple eyes, small nose, a standard face. But his eyes showed that there was a lot that he had went through growing up. He had lived in a town that was not protected by any nations. Throughout his parents' story, they also told him that Konoha never aided them when they were being attacked. As Kenshin being a child back then, He had taken on a hatred for Konoha that never went away. At the moment though, he did not make any moves towards them or anything. He was the one that brought his leader back to the village with that sword. That was no normal blade. Beside him was a much older and mature Fu. Fu had changed a lot over the past years, as she has grown out her hair as well. She was just different, as her face was calm. Utsukata sat there as well at the table. There was another Uzumaki, another one, that didn't grow up to know his lineage. His parents once told him that the clan that he hailed from was a destroyed clan. His father was the one that he mostly knew, his mother, getting killed by rogue ninjas. But his father passed on some years afterwards. He was a fair bit older. He was smart, a lot of wisdom behind those eyes. His name was Aisan Uzumaki. Sitting at the table as well was Hanoka, as she has just gotten more beautiful over the past 5 years. A lot has changed. Haku also had a seat at the table as well, face calm and neutral as ever. Brilliant smile that was just perfectly set. How much have their life changed over the past few years? There were also 2 other people as well. These people were mainly in charge of the day-to-day life of the civilians within inside of the village. Given that most of the clans in here were from different clans, and at first it was hard to make them get along, but things started to work after a while, as they realized they were all under one banner, and they weren't on their own, scrummaging for anything that they could not get from the other giant nations that were trying to oppress them. Now they were part of something much better and bigger. Each of them had a seat. Each of the clans. They had respected members like Shizuka for the Netsuko village, the village that was known to be populated by all women, as Shizuka had a voice in the council. But this was not a council meeting, this was for something else. Something that the Hokage knew that was coming a long time ago, and it was finally happening. The people for the civilians and the day-to-day life, they were both in their 50s, respected members that were given their role for their impartialness against everyone, and their calm, delective way of dealing with everything. The man was known as Hayato. The woman was known as Kaya. She had white hair, not because of age, blue eyes. The man had gray hair, not because of age either, and green eyes. As Hayato and Kaya turned towards the others, before they could say something though, the doors opened up to reveal him. As he stepped inside, he was wearing a black and red bodysuit. You couldn't see much from his arms because he was wearing a cloak that almost covered his entire body. When he locked his arms together, he had to move his arms for his rest of his body to show. But as he walked, you could see right in the middle a strange black and red suit, black pants, footwear that seemed unusual, like it was almost stuck to his pants. As he stepped forward towards the group, the time that we thought was coming is finally upon us, he said, as they all looked at him. The man himself, Naruto Uzumaki, 20 years old, almost, soon to be 21. He has grown exponentially over the past few years. Both mind, set, physically, everything about him just was different. A lot has happened. Yes, a lot. So they're finally making their move, Hayato said. When you told us that it would be within less than 5 years, I thought that it would be a bit longer. Given the fact that they know nothing about us, after all, you wouldn't want to poke a sleeping bear. But it seems that he has. Yes, they're making their move towards Land of Wave, not us this time. My best guess is they want to find out exactly who is in charge and what is going on inside, seeing that their spies have never been able to enter before. And I take it that we're gonna finally reveal ourselves at Kenjin, as he looked towards Naruto. Yes, this is the right time. This is the right time for me to speak to the Hokage myself. Given that man jumped his state, do you really believe you'll have a meeting with you? Yes, because I intend to take something from him. And what is that? They have Senyujito, the Jinjulki of the two tails. She will be in my possession until I have had a proper talk with him. For him to realize that his effects, his attacks, are not gonna stand. And if he retaliates, this will not be like the past. His village, his people will fall. The members in the room didn't bat an eye at that. If the other nations knew the things that they knew, they would be running scared. The members in the room all seemed to agree. The way that he was able to bring them together was to tell them that their smaller nations, their villages, will not be owned by any other people. To tell them that their village will not be seen as less than the major villages. No, they will not. To show them that their village, when their people come together, to show them that they will have a utopia where they didn't have to fear anything or run from anything, where they can live together in peace. It would be struggling at first and hard, but once they got to that spot, their children, their family could be happy. The thought of that, the dream of that, staying away from all the worn-torn elemental nation, being here, was so appealing they had to jump onto it. A few didn't at first, but they came to see the way was right. The island of Uzu was large, indeed massive, but there had to be more. Several members here were masters in art manipulation, so more was created, things were changed, and with the help of the wave, the bridge builder and his entourage, the place was quickly created into something much greater than it was in the past. They had a shinobi academy. The curriculum was a lot better than anything that has ever been seen through the elemental nation. Reason being, the curriculum was mixed from all different clans, where they had enough teachers to focus on individual sections where different students strive on and students didn't feel that well on. Hospitals. They had markets. The place has never been so, well, wonderful before. There was a huge river cutting right through the village, intercepting through several parts, giving it a vibrant ocean view. Naruto will not allow us to fall no matter what. The people here deserve to be happy, and he would make sure that they are happy. The meeting came to a conclusion as the meeting for the clan head was called. All the clan heads of their clans, as they had become a part of Uzu, so they became in charge of their clans. As all of them were in the same agreement, they knew that this time would come. They had been living in peace for the past couple of years, but they all knew this time would come though. And this time they were not going to back down from larger nation just because they didn't have enough manpower. They were going to show them that they were strong. Several of the clan here, they came in by marriage. Seeing that Kenjin was married to Shizuka of the Netsuko clan, to strengthen their ties and their bonds between them. And there were several others that came together by union. A few moments later, as we find Naruto in a rather large house, stepping inside of said house, he came to a stop as someone was coming towards him. The person was rather small, extremely so. They had mint green hair, just like their mother, and blue eyes like him. Before his eyes changed, it was a small girl that was crawling, as she had a shirt in her mouth, a blue shirt. Her eyes lit up when she saw him, as she crawled towards him. "Hey, get back here," a voice said, as Naruto turned his gaze. Stepping around the corner was none other than Uncle Mirashi, as she squabbled after the child. Said child run up to her father, as Naruto scooped down and picked her up. "Now why do you have Uncle's shirt, Kushina-chan?" he said, as the child merely giggled in his arms, as Uncle stepped around the corner and looked at him. She was a bit slower than usual given that she was pregnant, her stomach looking quite big. "Uncle, you know you should be moving around like this." "That is why I pay the maids," he said to her. Hey, don't take me for a complete, useless, swell cherry, she said. I can still move around as long as I want. Oh really now, said Naruto, as he gave her a blank stare. Well, maybe not as much, she said, but I'll be fine. Well, given the fact that you can't get the shirt back from a mere child, said Naruto as he handed the shirt back to her, as she was just in her bra. Look, she sprung upon me and just took and ran away. Where's Fu anyway? Uncle asked. We just had a meeting a few minutes ago. She'll be by very soon, said Naruto. Yeah, she better come and get that little bugger of hers. Just look at her, mocking me with those eyes. She's doing nothing of the sort, said Naruto. You keep on telling yourself that, but she knows what she's doing. As Naruto chuckled a bit. He found the whole thing rather amusing. Her name was Kushina. He had named her after his mother. There was a problem with his seal some time ago. A problem that ended up changing not just him but Kurama and Carnage as well. In the process, he met his father and his mother. His father was against the idea of him going up against Konoha, but Naruto had changed. As long as Konoha did not get in his way, he would not attack them. For that the man was happy. His mother on the other hand, she was thrilled with the thought of him doing what he was doing, rebuilding back the Uzumaki clan. And not to mention her son was going to be a Hokage. She hugged him for dear life, happy that he was alright. Happy that he was starting his own family. Before anything happened, Naruto was, how would you say it, he was naive. Yeah, naive was the word. He never knew what it took to run a village. He never knew what it took to be that driving force. Not to mention several things. That he looked back at the past that he wanted to change. For wanting the seals that were placed on the girls within Konoha. They didn't know that he was alive. In a sense of speaking, the seal that was placed on them was, regarding their illusion that they had, it wasn't a dream. He actually spoke to them in that seal. His chakra was inside. In that part of that seal, they already knew that he was alive, and he explained what he was doing. But in the real world, they did not know, until they saw him that seal would not be broken. And he was starting to feel bad that he left them, making him think that he was actually dead. But he was not. But they could not come with him. They had bonds to Konoha. Uncle had come with him because, well, despite having Kurenai, she lost so much when Orochimaru placed that mark on her. And she loved Naruto as well. Kurenai still had a lot to do with the village. Hinata was the heiress to the clan. Sakura had her parents. People like him and Sasuke, they could move on, despite having close people to them. But that would be changed very soon because he will make a debut to the world. Speaking of the young girl, Kushina, she was his first child with Fu. Fu had loved him ever since he saved her. And, well, while coming back, she was happy to spend more and more time with him. And that resulted in the little Kushina, who he named after his mother, who wished him all the luck in the world and hoped that he had a wonderful life before she saw him again. As for Uncle, she was carrying his second child. He had made bonds with all these girls, and all of them, they cared for him a lot. It wasn't easy. At first, yeah, the polygamy thing, it wasn't easy, but they all realized the care that he had for each of them. And Naruto had changed a lot since becoming the head of the village. Things that he never had to think about first, it just changed him so much. And he loved each and every one of them. Hanoka, Haku, even though she saw him as her master, which sometimes she still did despite knowing how she felt for him. He loved Hanoka as well. She was the main reason why he started all of this. Since he met her, he wanted a change. But Hanoka was not ready to have any children. She knew there was a lot to come first. And she was just not ready for that. She was quite content with the life that she had now but Fu. She was grateful for her daughter. She loved her with all her heart, so did Naruto. Anko on the other hand, well, her love for Naruto knew no bounds. It was beyond great, and that resulted in them spending a lot of time together. But it was indeed helping the Uzumaki clan grow, creating more Uzumakis. There was a few members that weren't fighters. Civilians, but they were glad to return back to their old home, where their families, their mothers and their fathers used to live. Anko at the moment could not be at the meetings because, well, she was pregnant. But there was another as well. As Naruto spent a few minutes with her before he had to move out. He has been a lot busy these days as Fu came by to spend time with their daughter. Meanwhile, he stood on top of the rushing cliff. Looking down below, the water was palpable, as it was being thrown left and right. His dark eyes surveying everything below him. It has been 5 years since he left Konoha. 5 years since the world believed that he was dead. 5 years since he saw her. Sasuke Uchiha had changed over these 5 years. His mentality, everything about him had just changed. Don't get him wrong. He still wanted to see his brother. But for not what you expected. Itachi. Itachi had slaughtered his family. Yes. Killed everyone. But after having a long talk and discussion with Naruto, why? Why would his brother do this? Why would he just kill everyone for power? It made no sense. Maybe it was the mentality that Sasuke started to see around him. The people living their life happily. Maybe he wanted that. Don't get him wrong, there was a few girls here that came to have a huge crush on him. Sasuke dated a few of them, but it just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel like they were meant to be. Even while being with them intimately, it just didn't feel right. His mind kept on wandering to her. At first he wondered if he just missed her as a friend, but Sakura Haruno. They were getting close, especially when they thought Naruto had died. He felt bad about just leaving her like that, but it had to be done. But once they saw each other again, the seal on her would break, and they will understand and remember everything that they had in their conversation in their mind. As they had already come to terms with it, and knowing that Naruto had to do what he had to do, Sasuke would do the same thing. But for now they did not know. Sasuke felt the ear pressure beside him, but he said nothing. His closest best friend, like a brother, Naruto Uzumaki, stood beside him. The both of them had indeed grown over the years. Itachi is getting worse, the voice of Naruto said. He had spies all over the elemental nation who informed him about Itachi. They caught the man coughing up blood. It seems like he had some kind of sickness, and it has been getting worse. Sasuke looked over towards the rushing water. Is it time? He said. Yes, said Naruto. Do you know where he is? As Naruto nodded his head. I'm guessing the other nations are finally making a move, Sasuke said to him. As Naruto nodded, Sasuke didn't want that. This place Uzo was a paradise, where people from all over came together and lived in absolute peace. And to have that be taken away, Uzo had become his home. Strangely, in just 5 years, it has changed him to a degree that he never thought was possible, but it had changed him. And he would not let Uzo die. But first thing first, he needed to meet Itachi. He needed to settle this once and for all. Maybe that was a part of him that just wouldn't let it go. A part of him that knew that no matter how hard he tried without confronting Itachi once and for all, it would never be resolved. The Akatsuki has been dormant since. They thought I was dead, waiting for my return. Well, the fox returned, said Naruto. Which is not gonna happen, but I doubt they're gonna wait for too long. They probably will make their move very soon. But their members are all over because of this event. I know exactly where he is. Are you sure that you're ready for this? Naruto asks. It has been 5 years. No more waiting, said Sasuke. I need answers. Naruto placed a hand on his shoulder. And you will get them, he said. Sasuke glanced towards him. As he nodded to him, time skipped. A few days later, Yujito and her entourage were making their way As they arrived toward the coast, removing their headbands, and dressed in black cloak, it was easy to get on a boat to the village. The village was not a fighting one even though they had the backing of Uzi behind them, but they also do trading with several other nations, so it was rather easy not to fully get in but to get to the coast. It will be up to them to sneak in the main section of the village, but to walk inside over the bridge was rather easy. After all, they trade with a lot of people, and locking up the bridge, that was not gonna happen. Her man spread out from her as she was walking with C. Saint Surfside Village. C was spreading out his senses. Something is wrong, he said as he arrived. As she glanced towards him, I can't sense anything behind this pathway, he said, as he looked at the bridge. What do you mean, she said. It's like something is blocking me. I can't sense anything behind this pathway, as he looked towards the end of the bridge. Looking up, the name of the bridge was the Great Naruto Bridge. That name, she knew it all too well. She remembered seeing him burn to crisp on that day, as she thought that he would be the one to give her a good challenge in fighting. But it was for naught. Wait a minute, his name was Uzumaki. No, that couldn't be, he was dead, she saw it with her own eyes. As the group calmly made their way, she paused for a moment as she surveyed the area, trying to feel something herself, but there was nothing. He couldn't see anything either. It wasn't a seal or anything, he couldn't see it. As he gave the signal to his men to move forward to see exactly what was going on. Before they could set foot inside the village though, someone was coming towards them. C saw the person very well, but the moment his feet came over the threshold, the moment he stepped over that section, that allowed him to step on the bridge, C's eyes went wide. His senses were on high alert, spreading to find anything, so when he came in contact with this person who stepped over the veil, as there was a seal there but none of them could see it, edged directly into the bridge wood, stopping any enemy from sensing anything inside. Not to mention, it also looked misleading as well. Few things that were not supposed to be seen by the naked eye, and by people who were not a part of this village. The village was under a tight, strict command. What happened to them from the rising of Gato would never happen again. C dropped to one knee, as the man literally threw up. Yujito was confused. C, what's wrong, she said. The members around him were confused as well, as they didn't quite understand what was going on. They saw someone standing there. The moment his feet stepped on the bridge, C just dropped and threw his guts up. C looked up with a painful expression in his face. Run! That was what he said to them. All of you, run now! Yujito, get out of here! She looked down towards him confused, not quite understanding. It's been a long time, Yujito. She froze. That voice, it sounded deeper, but it was him. But how? He was supposed to be dead. She saw him burn alive. It was then that he brought down the hood over his head that was attached to his cloak as he took it off. It seemed to be quite heavy, but yet it looked so freeing. She watched as he folded it, her eyes marveling in shock, as she still didn't understand that it was possible. She could see his body, and it was definitely him, his face. He was wearing a strange black and red suit. It seemed to go down into his pants. His pants were dark as night, unable to see even the fabric on it well. There was no sleeve on his arms, but there were strange dark marks like tattoos that went from his fingertips going straight up. As those confused her, were those sealing marks? What was she even thinking? How was he alive? You. It can't be. I saw you died. She looked down towards C. C was one of the best sensors of Kumo. His senses were on max alert. She tried to spread out hers, but she started to feel woozy. Like there was a strange pressure in the air. It then vanished like it was not there. I apologize for your friend. I just wanted to see how much his senses could take. See, grip Yujito arm. I told you to run. This guy. He's not human. There is no need to worry. I am not here for any of you. He raised his hand. As he pointed, just her. The rest of you can leave with your life intact. As long as you don't interfere. You want me, huh? Said Yujito. For what exactly? So that I can talk. Without you, he's gonna make rash and stupid moves, which is gonna end up with him dead. Wait, who are you talking about? You're Hokage. Are you saying that you're gonna kill the Hokage? She said, narrowing her eyes. I didn't say that, said Naruto, as he stepped forward. Sei's heart was beating a mile a second. He had cut it off, but they didn't know what he felt. That feeling was not normal. He's never felt that in his life before, and he's been around the Hokage several times before. The ninjas that were on the opposite side all flashed in. It was then that Sei noticed all. The people that were here had walked off when they had stepped here. It was like they already knew that they were coming. But how? They had played it safe. This shouldn't be possible. All the men flashed in front of Yujito. He's after you, Yujito. We know who he is now, just get out of here. We'll hold him back. I'm afraid I can't allow that. Sei narrowed his gaze. The intent was definitely there. But how powerful was he? Yujito's feet slid back a bit. Sei was right. They all need to find out who was the leader. And if this was indeed Naruto Uzumaki, he was definitely not the same as before. His look, his jovial attitude was not there. Something was wrong. It was 5 years, but he has really changed a lot. And not to mention he was powerful back then. How much more powerful was he now? She looked down towards Sei, as she saw a frightened, horrified look on his face. That is when she felt it. A hand gently rested on her shoulder. She was confused. Why did one of the men put their hand? The words died in her throat as she looked up into those red eyes. As she couldn't understand. He was at the end of the bridge. How? No. How was he in front of her? This shouldn't be possible. The ninjas didn't even react because they did not see. Their minds were unable to comprehend the speed. It took them a while to turn. Shock on their faces. The mistake that they made though was to draw their blades. The first one that pulled his blade to take the blonde down. After all, the Hokage did not like the rising of Uza. He would definitely wanted to fall. But that was their biggest mistake right there and then. Meanwhile that was going on, Itachi Uchiha has been a dead man for the past couple of years. He had nothing better to live for, nothing better to do. Yet he had kept himself because he wanted to find out who was the one that was behind his brother's attack. He went directly to Sasuke, not caring what he said. Sasuke promptly looked it over to find out who was it. And Itachi had kept himself calm for the past 5 years. But he was getting close to dying. And he figured when he find this person, which he was going to do by himself now by leaving the casket. Yes, Sasuke was unable to find him, but Itachi had no longer any hope to wait because he was running out of time. As he was currently by himself, looking down at the ring on his finger, about to take it off. Itachi. He froze at that voice. No. It can't be, he thought to himself. He glanced up and stared directly into those eyes. Itachi was shocked, so lost in his thoughts he did not even sense it. The man couldn't believe what he was seeing. Emotions that he kept up. Emotions that he kept locked away. Itachi was usually a man that kept himself calm under any situation, but it just came pouring out as tears started to fall from the man's eyes as he looked at his baby brother that has grown so much. He was alive. But guys, me and right here. If you want to stay to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.